Good morning, Ma. Today in the nephrotic disorders, let us see about the Wilms tumor. Coming to the Wilms tumor, tumor itself indicates it is cancer, and Wilms tumor it is a rare kidney cancer that affects the children, and it is also known as the nephroblastoma. It is the common cancer of kidneys in children, and it affects the children around the age of 3 to 4 years, and up to the age of 5 years it is common. And usually here the Wilms tumor occurs for one kidney. It affects for one kidney, and sometimes it also affects both kidneys. And here over several years there are many researches going on in order of the diagnosis, treatment and the prognosis. And due to the advancements in the diagnosis, treatment and the prognosis has been improved nowadays. With appropriate treatment, the outlook of the children, most children with Wilms tumor is very good nowadays. And coming to the causes, the exact cause is unknown, but the heredity plays a vital role here. Coming to the pathophysiology, here cancer begins when cells develop errors in the DNA, and here the errors allow the cells to grow and divide uncontrollably, and some of the cells here they die, whereas the others will grow and divide, and these growing and accumulate divided cells they get accumulated and forms into a tumor, and this is the process which occurs in the kidney cells. In rare cases the errors in DNA will lead to the Wilms tumor and passed. This is from the heredity, that is from the parent to the child, and in most of the cases there is no known connection between parents and children also, and this may lead to cancer. Coming to the risk factors, here the risk factors are mainly the African American race, that is this is very vastly seen in African and American children. And family history of tumor, wherever the family history of Wilms tumor is there we can see more of the cases of Wilms tumor. And here in these children we can see some of the abnormalities and syndromes. The abnormalities are like aniridia and hemihypertrophy. Aniridia means it is the in the iris, usually the colored portion of the eye, it is partially formed or not formed completely. Hemihypertrophy means one side of the body is more larger than the other side of the body, that is the symmetrical position is not there, it is asymmetrical. And coming to the gender, usually the female childs are more at high risk. Coming to the syndromes that are seen in the Wilms tumor are Weger syndrome, Dennis-Drash syndrome, and Beckwith-Wiedemann syndrome. That is Weger syndrome, Dennis-Drash syndrome, and Beckwith-Wiedemann syndrome. These three syndromes are very rarely seen in Wilms tumor. The other signs usually include the abdominal organs like umbilical cord, uh, large tongue, and enlarged internal organs are ear abnormalities also. There is an increased risk of tumors including a type of liver cancer called hepatoblastoma. In the liver disorder, in liver cancers also we can see the Wilms tumor, associated Wilms tumor. And coming to the clinical manifestations, here you can see abdominal mass. When there is an abdominal mass, there is an abdominal swelling and abdominal pain, fever, blood in the urine, nausea, vomiting, constipation, loss of appetite, shortness of breath, and high blood pressure. Here the clinical manifestations, mainly you see the abdominal mass is seen, and when there is an abdominal mass, there is abdominal swelling and abdominal pain, fever, blood in urine, nausea, vomiting, constipation, loss of appetite, shortness of breath, and high blood pressure. Coming to the diagnosis, usually the diagnosis is done by blood and urine test, that is complete blood count, and abdominal X-ray or ultrasound, CT scan, and MRI. These tests are very useful in the diagnosis of the Wilms tumor, and here the treatment depends mainly on the stages of child's cancer. This Wilms tumor has 5 stages, that is stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4, stage 5. Coming to the stage 1, here in stage 1, the tumor is in one kidney. That means one kidney, the tumor is only in one kidney, and usually it can be removed completely with the surgery, and 40 to 50% of in stage 1. And in stage 2, usually the tumor will be spread from the kidney to the tissues and blood vessels, and usually this cannot be completely removed with the surgery, and about 20% will be in the stage 2. And coming to the stage 3, usually the tumor cannot be completely removed with the surgery, because the tumor will remain in the abdomen, and 20 to 25% will be in the stage 3. And coming to the stage 4, usually in this the cancer will spread to the vital organs like lungs, liver and brain, and 10% of the cases are in the stage 4. Coming to the stage 5, usually here the tumor is in both the kidneys at the time of diagnosis only. We can see the tumor in both of the kidneys, and about 5% are in stage 5. Okay ma, once again we will review. Coming to the stages, there are 5 stages in Wilms tumor. In stage 1, only one kidney will be affected, and only the kidney will be affected, and completely it will be treated by means of surgery. And in stage 1, usually 40 to 50% of the Wilms tumor are we can identify in stage 1. Coming to the stage 2, here the tumor will be spread from the kidney to the vessels and tissues, so that after surgery also it will be remained, some of the bit of the tumor will be remained, and in this stage usually it consists of 20% of cases. Coming to the stage 3, here after surgery also, that this tumor cannot be removed completely, and it will remain in the abdomen. And in this it also consists about 20 to 25%. And coming to the stage 4, usually it is spread to the vital organs, other vital organs, like liver, lungs and brain, and usually in this stage 10% of the cases we can see. Coming to the stage 5, the tumor will at the time of diagnosis only we can see the tumor in both of the kidneys at a time, and 5% of cases are seen in stage 5, can be diagnosed at stage 5. Coming to the treatment, usually while giving the treatment, a team of doctors are necessary for this treatment. Actually the pediatrician, because it is the Wilms tumor is in pediatric stage, pediatricians, surgeons, urologist and the oncologist, all the 4 doctors will combine and form a team, and they will come up with a treatment plan for the child. The main types of treatment are surgery, first one. Next one is the chemotherapy and radiation therapy. Most children will undergo a combination of treatments. Along with surgery, they will undergo the chemotherapy and radiation. The goal of surgery is nothing but to remove the tumor, and if the tumor is not completely removed, chemotherapy or radiation therapy also will be continued in order to cope up with the condition, and some specific drugs and extent of the treatment will be continued. While giving the chemotherapy and radiation therapy, there are certain complications for the child like hair loss, nausea, vomiting, fatigue, diarrhea, anemia, loss of appetite, weight loss, pain, neutropenia, mouth sores, bruising, sleep problems, bladder issues, skin and nail changes, increased risk of infection. These are the complications. Let us once again see the complications. There will be certain complications after surgery, while giving the chemotherapy and the radiation therapy. They are like hair loss, nausea, vomiting, fatigue, diarrhea, anemia, loss of appetite, weight loss, pain, neutropenia, mouth sores, bruising, sleeping problems, bladder issues, skin and nail changes, increased risk of infection. Then we have the child's parents should talk with the doctor for the treatment, and we should know that any other additional medications are necessary for the if the patient is having any side effects with the drugs given, or with the chemotherapy drugs, or with the radiation therapy, or after surgery, or any sensitive drugs are there for them. We have to notify all these things. And usually hair will grow back normally within few months after treatment is completed. High blood pressure and kidney damage can occur as a result of child tumor or its treatment. Follow-up care is most important as the initial treatment, and usually this follow-up will include the physical exams and imaging test and blood test and urine test, and usually um, to cope up with the condition. Next one is the coping up and support. This is very essential for the child and their families. In order to cope up with the disease condition, we have to talk with the child's family, the doctors and the specialist, and we should given the information and support for the family and the child. These resources include social work services. That is, if necessary, we have to just tell them wherever the social work services are available, like blood donation camps or kidney donation services will be there. Wherever the social work services are there, we can explain them. And we have to counsel about the disease condition and what are the signs and symptoms, what are the complications, how the medicines should be taken, what is the diet to be taken, and what is the care to be given for them, and during before surgery and after surgery. And we have to explain them about the support groups, like online support persons or in persons, where the group is available to support them for the blood transfusions or financial aid, uh, like that. And we have to explain them about the nutrition and diet that is necessary to give them. And we have to allow them, parents, to speak with the parents of children who have already undergone this WIMS tumor treatment. We have to make an arrangement and provide them to speak with those parents and their families. We can provide additional support and give encouragement in order to have the good coping system and soon recovery. Coming to the prevention, WIMS tumor cannot be prevented by anything. And if the child has risk factors for WIMS tumors, we have to diagnose as early as possible, and to find out the abnormalities of kidney, we have to do ultrasounds whenever necessary. Although the screening cannot prevent WIMS tumor, we have to detect the disease as early as possible. If you get any even small doubt also, we have to perform the investigations for the children, like ultrasound, x-ray, and if necessary CT scan and MRI, in order to diagnose the disease as early as possible and to manage the child. Okay, ma, hope you understood the topic. We'll continue in the later session.